Hello? I'm quiet. Hello? 1, 2, whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay. um, hello. It's kind of late, but I'm here, so it's okay. For today, I don't really have much drawing-wise planned. I mean, I can doodle a little bit. I do have an illustration I need to finish, but I've been kind of slacking off with that. Yeah. Okay. You can see. Oh wait, I didn't change this. You can see which canvas I did my homework on. If you look close enough, you can probably see it. Okay. Okay. So there's a new DC superhero. Well, he's not new. It's more like he's getting his own little run. He's getting his own little run. There are only 5 are out right now, but I have read them all, and I really enjoyed it. I'm just gonna steal some values. Oh, fun fact, my Apple Pencil, which I used to draw, it's been like malfunctioning for the past month. I don't know if anyone's noticed, but like sometimes it's fine and then other times it just doesn't work. So you might hear me clicking and clacking at the screen if it stops working. Anyway. Yeah, it's called A City Boy. I don't think I'll talk too much about it because honestly it's really cool and you should just read it for yourself. So also because it's been a while since I read it and I already forgot what happened. But this bro has really cool powers. It's very interesting. He can he's like in tune with the consciousness of a city. And he's like a reluctant superhero, I feel. He doesn't want this shit. He doesn't have time for this shit. But he still like goes around being cool and powerful because he can't really control his powers that well. I mean, we see Nightwing and Superman very early on, and it's really cool. And it really just hammers it home the point that like, so he visits Bloodhaven and Metropolis, and his powers give the city's wakes up the city's consciousness, so like the city can like feel him or something. And it's really cool how like the moment he enters these cities, he meets the like protectors of it. Like, who better than to represent Metropolis and Superman, and who better to represent Bloodhaven than Nightwing? Also, little Dicky looks so cute in that art style. So for today, I had a few topics planned. They're all DC, of course. So, I am so deep into this, it's not even funny. Like, there's so much content. You will never run out, because there's like almost a century of content. And I'm always learning new things, it's so insane. And this is coming from someone who spent a lot of time in like just developing fandoms. Like Genshin, like no one knew any, like I was playing it as it was developing, so like there wasn't much you could do. But there's over a century of stuff. And I'm having a field day researching and consuming. This is the first illustration rendering I've done in literal months. And honestly, I don't know how I feel about it. It feels nice to be rendering again, but also, I don't know, it's just not hidden right. I'm just gonna finish it. Let me check. I actually wrote down my topics because I knew I'd forget. Uh, I started, or I'm trying to watch the old Batman series, like Batman the animated series, Batman Adventures, and like Batman Beyond. Um, of course I know what they are, but like, yeah, I'm trying to watch them. It's a little hard for me to get into because I have the attention span of like a 2-year-old, and so like after 2 episodes, I'm like, I'm tired. I don't want to do this anymore. But I didn't know anything about Batman Beyond, but I did watch Justice League. I'm not really sure why. I think I watched Justice League thinking it was a different Justice League show, but then when I realized it wasn't anything like the Justice League show I thought it was, I kept watching anyway. But yeah, I watched the epilogue and I was like, what is happening? The epilogue shows like Terry talking to Amanda Waller about like his past or something. I don't know. But first off, I was like, who the hell is Terry? And second off, why is everyone like dead and old? Like, what's going on? So I did a little bit of research into it, but I actually started watching it, and it's really cool. Like, Ollie suggested it to me, and that was a while ago, and I kind of forgot about it. But it's really freaking cool. Like, the music, I didn't expect to hear like rock music or like drums and stuff. Like, dang. And I do like Terry a lot. I've only seen like a few episodes, like 5, but I really like him. I don't know, he's just really cool. And it's so silly to me how a lot of the Robins start out by just taking Batman's shit. Like, Tim took Jason's thingy to like be Robin. Terry took Batman's suit. It's so cool how Terry went straight to Batman. Like, damn. So I wanted to watch Batman Beyond. Like, that was my original plan. But then I remembered seeing the clips of the animated series, and I was like, oh my god, I really want to see little Tim. Like, the Batman Beyond, the Batman animated series I actually like less than Batman Beyond. It's older, it's slower, I'm getting bored, I'm sorry. But I did watch a few key episodes, like with Grayson, because I love him. But I also specifically looked up episodes with Tim Drake Robin in it, because he looks so adorable in that art style. Like, whenever he showed up, I would just like giggle and like coo. It's just like, it's my boy. He's so cute. I have pictures saved. Wait. Because he means a lot to me, and he's just so adorable. Oh wow, that is huge. Why is it so large? Oh, that's why. Crap, why'd I do that? Look at him! He's so cute! He's like, he's like screaming in terror because he's being shot at. But like, here's another one. Like, Bruce is just holding, he's just a little guy! He's so adorable! I just want to, like, hold him! He's so cute! I can't. Honestly, half the time I'm so distracted by, like, gushing over Timmy that I completely forget the plot. And, like, I'm not paying attention at all. I'm just looking at this little cute ball of... So, so silly. Yeah, anyway. But I did have some minimal knowledge of the animated series and stuff, because, you know, like, every edit ever has it. like referenced. It's like such an interest. Like, I think the most compelling thing about Batman Beyond, from my limited knowledge, is that it's very feasible. Like 100%, that would totally happen. Like Bruce having a falling out with like literally everyone in his family. It's unfortunate, but looking at how the comics are going right now, it's definitely possible. Like, let me oh my god. Okay, I can't talk about Bruce's relationship with his family without talking about Barbara Gordon, because I might have ranted about this already. But Barbara, okay, just in general, I feel like sometimes Barbara's done like really dirty. This is coming from someone who's a massive Robin fan and honestly doesn't read much Batgirl stuff. But like, I swear, I feel like a lot of times she's just passed around. Like, obviously she's known for being Dickie's love interest. But like, it's like complicated or something. And they've like known each other for ages, but whenever they try to get together, they like always end up breaking up for some reason, and then like, but they're still like kind of together. It's like, it's a mess. And and then we have in I don't remember what it was. It was a different continuity, but all I remember is that at some point Barbara and Jason had a thing going on, which is absolutely wild because the age difference between those two is even larger, with Barbara being older, I believe. And like, apparently a lot of people liked it. Like actually being heartbroken when those two didn't get together because Jason was kind of like horribly unstable at that time. Yeah, it's just such an interesting thing, and like they keep like messing with their ages, like aging Barbara up, aging Barbara down, just so they can like have her date a Robin or something. And it just doesn't sit right. Now, the biggest offender was whatever the heck happened between Batman Animated Series and Batman Beyond. Because, like, some comics came out after Batman Beyond to kind of flesh out some stuff, show people, like, what happened, and, like, give some context. And what happened? So, Dickie, right, he got mad at Bruce and, like, quit being Robin. He jumped off the roof, he left to Bloodhaven. He just fucked off. And he didn't really tell Barbara this, so their relationship was kind of in this awkward situation where they really needed to talk about it, but they weren't talking about it. But yeah, I don't recall the details, but apparently, like, so reminder, Barbara is Bruce's best friend's daughter. Okay, and then not only that, but Barbara is dating and basically engaged to Bruce's adopted son. Well, I don't know if he was adopted at this point, but Bruce's ward, right? Someone he views as a son. And like he sleeps with her, and there's like a pregnancy scare. This shit's insane. When I heard that happened, I was so done. I was like, what? Who the frick came up with this shit? And understandably, when Grayson came back from his whole brooding year, he's like, oh my gosh, Barbara, I love you. Like, I know you still love me. Let's, like, kind of figure it out, right? And then Barbara has to awkwardly go, yeah, I kind of slept with your basically dad. And luckily, I don't know if it's lucky, but, like, the pregnancy doesn't work out. But still, it happened. And understandably, Dickie's very upset. And he's just like, what the hell, Bruce? And, if you take into account those comics, which a lot of people tend to just ignore, which fair, then yeah, Grayson not being around in Batman Beyond is very understandable. But if ignoring it, I think the whole fallout between Batman and Robin is enough to kind of keep him away. But yeah, that was a writing decision that they decided to do. Speaking of like supplementary comics, there was there was another one created, The Adventures Continue or something, where it's so like Batman the Animated Series ended kind of abruptly and people wanted more, so they made that. And it's after, or like it kind of exists outside of it all. Like we have the setup for Batman Animated Series, but it doesn't obviously lead to like Batman Beyond. So it's its own little isolated event in the universe. And probably the most notable thing is introducing Jason. Because up till this point, everyone assumed Jason just straight up didn't exist in this universe. Because we saw Grayson as Robin, right? And then we went straight to Tim. And the weird thing about Tim is that, I'm not sure why they did this, but they gave Tim Jason's backstory. So like Tim was a kid on the streets, he was an orphan, you know, all alone, right? And so that basically eliminated any chance of Jason being here. But no, here he is. He's here. He's the Red Hood. Apparently he died. No, he didn't die. He, like, faked his death unwillingly. If I remember correctly, he's very violent, like normal. And then he gets kidnapped by the Joker. The Joker beats him with a crowbar. And then the place gets set on fire. Batman comes to rescue Jason. And then he starts to rescue Joker and, like, dragging him out of the warehouse. And Jason's just like, bro, what the hell, man? He just, like, injured me horribly. And I'm, like, bleeding from my face right now. And you're saving this guy? And Bruce is just like, we're not having this conversation right now. And Jason gets angry. A bunch of shenanigans happen. The place ends up blowing up. And Bruce wasn't able to save Jason because he was busy saving the Joker, which is just... wow. Like, slow clap. Wow. And, yeah, so Bruce, for the longest time, thought Jason died. But he actually didn't. He made it out, and now he's coming back as revenge, and, like, the Red Hood whole thing plays out. He, like, kidnaps Tim and puts him in this water tank or something. In the end, he runs away. He doesn't complete his goal of killing the Joker or fucking with Batman. But he does live. I stopped reading there because I got bored. But he does get rescued by freaking Deathstroke of all people. And, what's it, like, the dialogue was like, what, like, a new family or something, I don't know. But, speaking of Deathstroke, I really need to read more about Rose Wilson. Because I only know her in context to Jason. Because I'm a Jason fan. But, like, she seems, like, really sweet. Okay, oh, I read the Court of Owls. I read, like, the volume collection thing, like Court of Owls and Night of the Owls. I'm not sure. There's, like, so many specific, different and specific wordings that mean different things, and it's too confusing, and I don't care enough. Honestly, I only read it because I wanted to know about, Grayson's involvement. Like, I've seen people draw art of him being a Talon, which is, like, an assassin for the Court of Owls. And I'm like, I need to know what's going on here. I saw this one animatic of Young Justice Grayson, getting like experimented on by the Court of Owls and like changing sides, and honestly it was such a masterpiece. I was convinced to read the whole thing. I know a little bit about the Court of Owls because I watched the DC AMU. Honestly, Son of Batman wasn't that good. And I didn't really care much about Talon or whatever, but it gave me information on the Court of Owls. There's another thing I know it from. Oh, Gotham Knights. Yes. The Court of Owls is like some myth in Gotham City, but it's actually not a myth, it's actually real. Actually, one of my favorite interactions in that whole comic is, Bruce talking to Jim Gordon, and they're assessing this body that came up that was very obviously murdered by the Court of Owls. And Jim's just like, hey bro, I think it's the Court of Owls. And Batman's like, no, that's just a myth. And Jim's just like, well, to be fair, you were a myth for a while. And that just reminds me of that beginning scene in Justice League War, was it? Where Green Lantern runs into Batman and they have their silly little interaction. Anyway, you can tell which parts I'm leaving for last. Like, the sweater design, I have to, this one shoe. Okay, we'll do the shoe. Oh no, wait a minute. This thing got erased. Yeah, the Court of Owls is like, this secret society in Gotham with all the Gotham's richest people. It's just a bunch of corrupt, rich white people fucking shit up. They have like this ego problem that's like, Gotham belongs to us, and like, we're better than everyone else or something, I don't know. But yeah, they're like going around wreaking havoc and fucking with shit. They do so mostly with their assassins. They are called Talons. These Talons are like stupid strong. They like do some weird biochemical engineering on them, so they have like an insane healing factor. They like this one Talon fell from like an 80-story building and walked it off. They can come back to life. They can be killed, but it's just really hard. Anyway, yeah, so it's an interesting foil to Bruce Wayne, because Bruce is like someone who's genuinely genuinely loves Gotham and is like trying to make it better. But then the Court of Owls are just like, no, Gotham's ours. You can't just do whatever you like, you know. Let me think. So I read the first like 3 issues at like midnight, and then I read the rest of it throughout the morning, so it's kind of hazy. By the time I finished it, I immediately took a nap, so I didn't really have time to absorb it. Let me think. Oh crap. Wait, this is kind of sad. Oh shit. Okay, whatever. I don't know. They find this body. He's like horribly, obviously tortured before his death, and it just looks real bad. So, the big thing I came there looking for is Grayson's connection to everything, and apparently, spoilers for like the Court of Owls, I guess, but apparently Hallie's circus, the circus Grayson grew up in, has like a history with the Court of Owls, and so like every few years, Hallie's circus just donates a bunch of children to the Court of Owls, and they're like breeded and trained up to become the next Talons. And Grayson was gonna become a freaking Talon, If his parents didn't die and Bruce didn't take him in, then he probably would have become a Talon, which is just such an interesting, like, thing. Right, shoe. I need to do the shoe. Okay. Oh, jeez. I never recorded that. I have to record an introduction for a project, and it's been like 3. I keep forgetting to do that. Okay, I'll do that right after trim. You know what? I'm gonna write a note to myself. Actually, I'll just do it on my computer. Okay. Make introduction. Alright. We'll leave that annoyingly in the corner so I can't possibly forget. Let me think. Honestly, a lot of the writing was like really good. And this was, again, I was like horribly sleep deprived when I read it, but I thought it was good. A lot of it started with like some minor context, like this is Wayne Tower, this is the history behind it. Like, okay, one example is this issue opens up with Bruce telling us about the Wayne Tower, which is this giant observation deck. And he's like, it was built by this person, you know, this is the amenities it holds, it's like really strong and sturdy and it's open to the public. And the glass is meant to be unbreakable. And then the next scene is Bruce breaking through the glass because he's getting assassinated by a Talon. And Bruce somehow survives this. Honestly, I don't know if I missed something, but like he like landed on like a little hidden aspect of the tower and like survived. But he literally said earlier that if he tries to stop his fall, he'll probably like rip his arms apart or something. I don't know. I mean, the Talon survived falling from the whole ass building, so. Oh, I hate. Why did I do this to myself? It's gonna be so annoying to color. I've been like getting my shit together lately. In school, like, check me out. Like, do your homework, people. Drink water. Next week's gonna be pretty busy. I have like a rehearsal thing, so I'll have to miss school for that. Actually, okay. So at my school district, they do this thing called a district concert every year, where they have every chorus. I'm in chorus. They have every chorus from the middle school, the high school, and the elementary schools. There's like 5. They all come together and they perform songs, and it's like really cool. Or so fun. I've been doing it since freaking 5th grade, so the novelty kind of wears off after a bit. But yeah, it's like a really cool experience for like the younger kids to see like the older chorus groups and obviously parents to kind of, you know, see all this stuff. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, so last year I was in this thing called concert chorus. At my school there's a concert chorus, which is which is like the base class for chorus. And then there's the voices group, which is like the select singing. You have to audition to get in there. And I'm in that one this year. Hehe, check me out. Anyway, so last year in concert chorus, we went to the rehearsal. We rehearsed, and there's this one kid. I think he was in the middle school chorus. But he was like moving around on the risers very scarily, like in front of me. And I was worried he'd fall and like absolutely destroy everyone in front of him. So I was like, hey, like, stop moving around, you know? And he kind of looked at me with, like, audacity. And he's like, okay. He stopped. But then later on, I found out that he rode my bus home. And now, like, it's been like almost a year, and every time I don't ride the bus often anymore, but like every time I pass him on the bus, he goes, "Hi, chorus girl," and I just have to kind of look at him like, bro. I mean, I'm not mad, and like it is kind of silly. Sometimes I just wonder, like, this is an interesting kid. um, but yeah, this year I'm in the highest level, of course, the select one. I believe, to my knowledge, he's still doing it, so I guess I'll see him again this year. Yeah, children are weird. That's smooth enough, right? I'm not really in the mood to like, I can like blend it out. These are such yummy colors. Actually, when I was really working on this last week, I was like fighting for my life. Because like, I normally use saturated colors, but these are like, dang. And also the background is like this bright red. So I was like, my eyes, bro. I would be working for like 2 hours on the sweater, which is like a bright pink and purple. And then I would look away and literally like due to sensory deprivation, everything would be tinted green in like a desperate attempt for my eyes to readjust to like normal lighting. And then to take a break from working on this, I would work on the sweater, I would work on the pants instead. So yeah. Also, not to mention the values on my screens are all off. Like if I look right now on my computer screen, it's kind of washed out a little bit. On my actual iPad screen, it's definitely brighter. But then on my computer monitor, which I have connected, this monitor is like very saturated. So like, yeah. Which is also why I color drop a lot of things, because I don't trust my screen values. Like the worst feeling is like getting a color that you think is correct, then looking back and realizing it's not even close and you're an idiot. Anyway. But yeah, this is the first thing I've actually illustrated in forever. I went through like insane art block. Like sometimes I really struggled to stream because I straight up couldn't come up with anything to draw. I feel like in general I'm kind of pulling it together. Oh, so I had to do math homework this one night last week and I was just not in the mood. But I still felt guilty about not doing any work. So what I did is I went downstairs to my desk, which is where I do my homework. And I kind of sat there. My backpack was like closed next to me. I had to open it and get my homework out, but I didn't. What I did instead was like crawl around in my closet and pull out my old ass violin, which I hadn't touched since 6th grade. And so what happened is that I played violin in like middle school, but then I quit because I didn't like it. I didn't like the orchestra, and but I always did continue to enjoy like the act of playing it. But yeah, so, and because I quit so early, it was before I really learned how to take care of it. So like I didn't know how to tune it. I didn't really know much. So I ended up spending an hour just playing around with it. I tuned it. It took a bit. It was absolutely terrifying. I was like just ready for the string to snap and like bitch slap me in the face. And yeah, so for about an hour and a half, instead of doing homework, I decided to pick up the violin again. It was kind of a mess on my arms because, again, I forgot how to properly hold one. So, I was saying this earlier, but my right hand, I'm right-handed, so it's always messed up when I draw because I have ungodly posture. So my right hand is almost always sore and I have to massage it pretty much all the time. My left hand, which hasn't been doing anything up till now, I destroy it playing violin because my ass doesn't know how to hold one properly. I'm figuring it out, but sometimes once I finish, my left hand is like, oof, ouch. And Monday, oh my god, Monday was so bad. So like, I had a doctor's appointment and I got my flu shot, and to begin with, flu shots make you very sore, right? Like the act of taking it itself and like getting the shot itself is fine, right? It's nothing, but it makes you sore for hours afterwards. And so my arm was sore, and then I got home and I have to take bi-weekly injections for a different thing. So this is outside of flu shots in primary care. And I had completely forgotten. So I went in there, and these shots hurt like hell. Like, I'm saying this right now. I feel like I'm immune to like every basic shot because of those ones, because they hurt so badly. Like, the liquid that they use, that they're injecting, is very thick. So that means it goes in very slowly. So you're kind of standing there for a good 5 to 7 seconds, just like hearing the nurse push the plunger in, and like it's not like the nurse's technique, it's just freaking hard to get all that like thick, dense liquid into that small needle, right? It takes a while. It always works out in the end, but like, damn. So you're kind of just standing there, it's like aching, it's really starting to hurt, and then like the actual like liquid going in, like, ow. Anyway, yeah, and afterwards my arm's almost always very sore. Not because of the medicine, but because it just got shoved into me. So I got my flu shot on my left arm because I don't use that one that often. Despite starting violin again. I guess I forgot about that. And then I got injections, one on both sides. So on Monday, my arm was just dying. It was so bad. Like, I came in the next day and like, you for real couldn't touch it. It hurt. It freaking hurt. You could breathe on it, it'd be sore as hell. And then, gym. Right, despite this, during gym class, even though I really did not have to, I decided I wanted to play volleyball. I don't even like exercise. I don't know what possessed me, but I decided I was gonna play volleyball. And my weak-ass, noodle-ass arms, by the end of it, like, bro, I had no strength left. My arms are still sore from that. So, like, once the soreness of the shots wear off, I'm just left with the soreness of playing volleyball so hard. Yeah, like, when I was taking a break, I, like, sat down at the side, and my arm was complete noodles. I had to take a math test the next period, and I, for real, was struggling to write. like, my arms are still sore. It'd be helpful to know that I actually don't do, like, any exercise. I'm not, like, overweight or anything. I'm like a very healthy weight, actually. And I look fine, right? So, I take that as a win. The only drawback is that I'm weak as hell. Like, my health is fine, and my physical fitness, it's alright. Like, I go on walks a lot, I guess. But I'm just really weak. I got no muscle here. My school has a requirement for graduation where you have to take health class. We also had to take it in middle school, and I remember taking it in middle school and being like, it was torture, bro. It was so bad. So I kind of put off health class in high school because I didn't want to go through that shit again. And the thing is, the health class there is only half a semester, or no, 1 semester. So there's 2 semesters, like the school year split in half, and you can take classes split like that. So for the first semester I have health, and then for the second semester I have an art class. I literally sacrificed my art class for this, but I need it for graduation. So half a semester of health, easy, right? I haven't taken a half semester class in literal years. It's always a full, it's always the full year classes. I've never taken like half a year this class, half a year that class. Not since like freaking middle school. So, and I kind of underestimated how little time that is. Like, we have a lot of shit to get through. So like, every class, it's just like, we're going, right? Like, we always have something to do. It's a lot of work. It's not like typically hard work, it's just like, another paper, like, yeah. I've been like milking it though. So the first unit we did was a mental health unit. So, you know, like awareness, mental health, break some stigmas, stuff like that. Be educated on mental health. And for our final projects, we could either, oops, let me think. Right. Wait, no, not that one. First one was like general health, like diseases, genetic diseases. So the project was to make a family tree and kind of identify what genetic diseases you might be vulnerable to in your family. And you had to make a little family tree, which was really hard to do, honestly. Like, it was so hard to keep it organized. You made a family tree, and then you had to write like a little essay. It's more like you have to write a page of like your research on this. You pick one disease, you do some research on it, talk about how to prevent it, you know, stuff like that. Yeah, so I was too lazy, and I was like, I'm not doing research for this. So I decided, I know, I'm gonna write about depression. Now, I've been researching depression since like 6th grade. I know a lot about it, right? So I was like, this is gonna be easy, and it was. I didn't have to do we were supposed to include sources, but what I did was just copy paste some random articles about depression and then completely fill in my own answers. But yeah, so for an entire page I just ranted about depression and how it was affecting me and my family and stuff. And low-key, I was kind of worried that the health teacher would read that, immediately get like concerned, and then like call the guidance office or like call my parents or something. But she didn't do that, so it's okay. But yeah, it was a pretty damn good essay. Well, I say that because she likes it. Honestly, I have absolutely no sense of like how good my writing is. I think it's bad, but I mean, I've managed to pass in school so far, so right, and then I was like, this is what I meant by milking. And then the next project we had to do was the mental health one, and you could either research a celebrity and kind of talk about their mental illness to kind of spread awareness, be like, hey, you're not the only one suffering, right? Like, even these famous people who are like rich and famous have issues, right? Or you can write a 3-page essay about your own mental illness and how to break the stigma. And once again, I didn't want to do research. I really don't like doing research. So I decided to write the essay. And that shit was so fun. Right? Like, obviously I'm going to talk about depression again. And I can just rant for 3 pages straight. I can just rant. As long as I included like a happy message at the end saying like, you're not alone, right? Which I fully believe that. But it was nice to just straight up rant about my issues. I handed it in, completely forgot about it for like a few weeks. Then while we were working on some worksheet, my health teacher, who sits like, I sit near her desk, she kind of looks over at me and she's like, oh my gosh, Kay, like, this is really good, this your mental stigma essay. And I kind of looked at her like, my what? What essay? But I got it in the end, and I was like, oh my god, thank you. So, yeah, let's go. She says that, So obviously the celebrity posters, they're just posters, so you can easily print it out and hang it across the school. A lot of the stuff we do in health class gets put around the school. And she told me she doesn't print out the essays because it's literally just a giant block of text, and who in the world is going to stop and read that? But mine was so good, she was going to print it out. And I was like, damn. Damn. I don't know if it was that good. Like, it was literally just me venting. But yeah. So, Kay, writing extraordinaire? I'm really not, but, the thing I can't do is narrative writing. Bubble, for his book, so Bubble writes his books in order. So, like, for me, I always write my stuff out of order. So, like, if there's a scene I really wanted to talk about, like, here's the climax, right? I'll start with writing the freaking climax, and I'll fill in the spaces as I go. Bubble can't do that. So he has to write chronologically, and, like, chapter by chapter, which I think is absolutely miserable, but whatever works, I guess. And he was, like, one chapter away from, like, a pretty big and climactic point in the story, and he was, like, kind of losing it. So he texted in our little group chat with a yay, and he's like, "Kay, can you write this for me?" So what he needed was, like, a fluff scene between the characters before everything goes to hell and everyone gets sad and dies and stuff. And I was like, dude, you don't want me writing in your book. But he was so insistent, and I was like, fine. And, like, I swear, I'm being so for real. I write like a fanfic writer, okay? Like, once I, like, finished just spitting out some random junk, I was like, dude, this is some, like, fan fiction writing. I don't know why. I can't write good. I just write like a fan fiction author. Right? Like, it has that air. I don't know what about it made it give fan fiction, but it did. But it was good enough. The ideas are fine. So Bubble was like, this is perfect. I can work with this. So it worked out in the end. But yeah, after writing that, I kind of looked back at it and I was like, dude, oh, maybe I don't read enough, like, actual books. Like, why does it read like a fan fiction? So yeah. This is why I'm gonna stay a comic artist instead, because it's so much easier to just write in dialogue instead of, like, actually writing. That was a fun experience, I guess. This color is so nice. In health class, we're doing the alcohol unit. And one of the ways we had to get points was by performing this thing called the recovery position on someone. So when someone is passed out from being intoxicated or overdosing, once you've made sure that they're breathing and they're okay and, like, you've administered what you can, you're supposed to put them in the recovery position. This is in case they, like, throw up or something, right? Because if they're on their back, then chances are they might suffocate on it, and that's a horrible way to go. So, I can, like, oh my god, look at this emergency medical care with Kay. So here's, like, a person, right? He's like, imagine this is the floor. They're laying on their back. So what you do, here's another person, right? They're kind of looking down at them. You take the hand closest to you, this one, and you lay it out directly 90 degrees to the side. Palm facing up, I believe. Look at that hand. Then you take the hand farthest from you and put it on their cheek. So, like, that. So if you look closer, here's, like, their face, right? They're unconscious, wait. You take the hand and place it like this. So you want the palm facing outwards and the arm kind of bent around their body like that. And this is so... actually, I'll explain better. I can't believe I'm doing this right now. Then you take the leg farthest from you, this one, and put it up. So if you're looking at them horizontally, so they're... this is a nose. This is their ear. Here's their hand, palm facing outwards. they're laying like this. You want this leg straight forward, this leg bent up. And you bend it up, and then you take this knee and roll it this way. So by putting the hand here over there, it'll catch them. So this hand, this one is to make sure they don't roll too far and like smack their face. This hand is to catch their face. So once they're finished rolling on here and the arm kind of locks in, they won't smack their face on like the floor. So, and putting the knee up like this gives you easy leverage. So pretty much you can do this to anyone, even if they're bigger than you. So like the result is like, so they're asleep, right? Here's the hand, palm facing on the floor. Their arm is like this. They're kind of laying awkwardly on their hand here. Here's the body. Their leg would be like this, and the other one would be continue to be straight. So they look like that. Also, like tilt the head up so they can breathe, and then like you gotta say that. Yeah, so we had to do that with someone, and yeah, and it was kind of sad too because my partner was this one person I've been sitting at a table with for like the past month. And like we've talked many times before and we've had pleasant conversations before, but I didn't know her name. So we like, one of the steps is when you see someone unconscious, you have to check for responsiveness, which means you have to like shake them, call their name, try to wake them up. Except I didn't know her name. So before we were set to go up and perform it, I kind of asked her what her name was awkwardly, and she looked at me and she's like, "You don't know my name?" And I had to explain that I know that it was said in front of me before, it's just that I completely forgot. So that was embarrassing. Like I had already reached that threshold where it's just like, well, too late to learn her name now, right? It'd just be awkward. So that was amazing. So yeah, if you ever run into an unconscious person, remember the recovery position. Of course, always check for breathing first. That's the most important thing, because the recovery position isn't going to do anything if they're already suffocating. So yeah. It was so interesting going from the drug unit, like substance abuse, to like alcohol, right? Because in the drug unit, it was straight up like, don't do this, right? Like, this is what will happen, just don't even try, right? Like, just don't. And then in the alcohol unit, you could see our teacher, like, very obviously kind of go, okay, so like, I know you're gonna drink at some point, so I may as well try to make it less harmful. Like, she isn't even gonna try to like scare us away from drinking because it's such a normalized part of society now. So don't ask me how much one drink is though, because I immediately forgot the numbers. What was it, like one drink is how much your liver can process in an hour? So that's like the standard unit of measurement. So yeah, I don't know. When we took the test, or the little quiz, I kind of just asked for answers, but it's fine. So yeah, practice safe drinking. Don't drink and drive, y'all. It was kind of weird because like our teacher put a lot of emphasis, and like to help us kind of visualize it, they had us think about people who we know that have gone through substance abuse. And yeah, it is very unfortunate. But for me, I actually don't have any family members or friends who have gone through that. So I didn't really have a point of reference. And this is the saddest thing in the world. What I would do instead so there's this character in DC. His name's Roy Harper, and I love him. And during like the drug craze in like the 1900s, when everyone was like not the war on drugs, but like everyone was like, don't do drugs, right? Like big no to kind of DC kind of followed the trend by giving Roy Harper, aka Speedy, who is Green Arrow's sidekick, a freaking drug addiction. and every time I would just think of how. So yeah, that was my point of reference, and like Roy, I've talked about him before, but his story is hella sad, right? Like, he never got the support he needed. He really was on his own for a lot of it. He had to kind of force himself to get better once he found out he had a daughter, and like, he makes me very emotional. And so now, like, in class when we're talking about like how horrible withdrawal symptoms are and just like how mentally taxing, physically taxing everything is, I would just get so sad thinking about fucking Roy Harper. So take that what you will. That's fun. Gosh, I'm too lazy to like. Oh, I was watching a movie a few days ago. It was what was it? It was like a sad movie actually, but the song that played in it like gave me flashbacks. Like, the tune sounded so similar to a song I'd heard years prior, and I was like, oh no. So I thought about it a little more, and I found the song. So like, it's La Da Di by Cody something something, and I know this song from two things. This one, My Little Pony animated music video, which is honestly very high quality and very cute. And the song is like a bop. And this other very obscure ass Nickelodeon movie. I was a big Nickelodeon fan. I liked it more than Disney. So when I was a kid, I would go on like the Nickelodeon app to find movies to watch. And I found this one movie called like, what was it? Crazy Cruise? Or like Family on a Cruise or something. I genuinely don't freaking remember what happens. But it's like a family feel-good story of like this family on a cruise, and like, you know, shit goes wrong and like everything's all circumstantial and everything's falling apart, but then they come together as a family and they fix it all, and woohoo. And I remember the theme song was that song by Cody Simpson, I think it was. And I don't know. I must have watched it on like a vacation or something, but I just remember watching it and enjoying it. I think I watched it twice. But now I kind of want to rewatch it. So yeah, that's wild. There was like another Nickelodeon thing. Right, and another thing to add to obscure Nickelodeon things. I don't know how obscure it was. I remember it being kind of popular. I say that like I was on social media to know how popular it was. It was called a Hawaiian, like, I actually don't know the name. But it was like, it's like a game show. So the hosts bring a bunch of kids, and they form teams of 3, I think. No, 3 teams of 2. 3 teams of 2. And they're all brought to Hawaii. And they have to play like these games. It's like a big relay race, right? And in the end, if they win, they like get some big prize or something, like some island paradise shit. And like, if I recall, it was in 3 stages. The first one was like a little mini game, typically a puzzle or some kind of physical activity. The next one would be like a word puzzle, question mark, where they would have to like unscramble words. So in this Hawaiian resort, all the different hotels have they're all named different things. So they unscramble these words to find out what hotel they need to go to, and then they gotta all race to the hotel, find the room, and then find like the end goal. I think it's like a key, or I don't know, they have to find something, and that gives them like the prize. And I remember watching these kids run around the island and thinking, I could do that. I could not do that. Like, dude, these kids are running like madmen. Like, a lot of the time they're all just neck and neck. So you just see these kids running across these giant ass resort hotels because the only clues they have is like the hotel it's in. These hotels are like 8 floors. So they're running around trying to find the end goal. And like my ass can't do that for a sustained amount of time. And that's after like going through all the mini games from the beginning. But yeah, good times. I did watch like 2 Disney shows. I watched Star vs. the Forces of Evil and Lab Rats. Lab Rats was my freaking jam. I loved it. There's this one video I found on YouTube a bit ago. It's like really good. It's like a retrospective on Lab Rats. It's 4 hours long. You really can't miss it. But I watched it many times. And like every time I watch it, I'm like, damn, this show is really shit. But I really enjoyed it. It's so bad it's good, I feel. Right? But yeah. Lab Rats is about like it like broke the norm for a lot of Disney movies at the time, because a lot of Disney movies are like, this kid's going to school. It's like a slice of life type thing. But Lab Rats, it is a slice of life, but it has like sci-fi elements to it. So it's like this one kid, Leo, his mom has just married the Donald Davenport. And Donald is like the Tony Stark of this universe. And so they're moving into Donald's like expensive ass condo, and Leo, who is like the best character in this whole last show, I swear, he kind of wanders around and he finds a secret lab in Donald's house. And in this lab, which is like basically the basement, he finds a bunch of teenagers. So the teenagers, Adam, Bree, and Chase, are bionic. They're not real teenagers. They're biochemistry. They're created in test tubes, basically. And they were implanted with these bionic chips which give them abilities or something. It was just one big experiment, and Donald didn't really know what to do with them, so he kind of just shoved them in the basement. Like, they've been in this stupid-ass basement their entire lives. Like, but, like, Donald would have been arrested for child abuse, like, 4 times over. Anyway, yeah, and then it starts off with, like, some slice-of-life stuff, like, you know, they're trying to fit in with their bionic abilities and not having any social interaction. And then, like, it very quickly devolves into, like, actual hero-villain fighting type stuff. And the villains range from, like, that's so creative and interesting to who? But yeah, I love that shit. Actual class, I guess. But yeah, I ended up watching a lot of the Thundermans, a lot of iCarly, and like a little bit of Tom and Jerry on Cartoon Network. Teen Titans Go was a big thing. Oh my god. So like this DC thing did come out of nowhere, but I really feel like it honestly isn't that far-fetched. Like I've kept a minute eye on DC since I was little, right? Like I grew up watching Teen Titans Go and very quickly realized this show ranges from pretty funny to absolutely disgusting. And I also I was a big fan of the original Teen Titans. But I never really thought that hard about the fact that it connected to a wider universe. And again, I got into DC because I was looking into the Teen Titans again. Because I try to rewatch it every once in a while. Like that Raven arc. Oh, actually amazing. Yeah, and then it kind of came from there. And I haven't watched Teen Titans in forever, but I have seen a lot of clips of it. And I really feel like by the time I stopped watching, Teen Titans Go really was starting to venture into the wider universe. Like, you see a lot more DC characters outside of just the Titans. Like, obviously you see Batman and Superman, but you also see like Vixen, Kid Flash, Speedy. You see freaking like Joker, Catwoman, Poison Ivy, a whole bunch of other people. And yeah, it's just kind of interesting. Speaking of like DC shows for kids, another thing that I was into, I don't freaking know why I had this, but I do remember in like my childhood bookcase that I shared with my brother, my mom had gotten us like a comic volume 1 of the Tiny Titans, which is a run under the DC like kids publisher, right? So it's basically just a kids version of the DC universe. It's just various little adventures and silly little short stories of Titans characters. So we have, it's not just Titans. We have like some villains like Deathstroke and Darkseid. Brainiac maybe? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, and I remember reading that, and I mean it held my attention because it was like colorful and pretty. But I also was hella confused because at the front of each volume, of each volume, they had like a little roll call. So it's like, here's a profile picture and here's their name. But I didn't freaking know who these were. I didn't go on the internet. I couldn't look them up on Wikipedia. So I was like, the moment I read that, and I tried my damned hardest to remember these names, but I couldn't for the life of me. So I just read it, and I'm like, oh, it's that girl. Oh, it's that guy. I didn't know who Robin was, though, at the very least. But once again, my only DC knowledge at the time was like Teen Titans Go. So I was like, who are all these people? I thought the Titans only consisted of like Robin, Raven, Starfire, Beast Boy, and Cyborg. I don't even think Cyborg is in Tiny Titans. But yeah, I read Tiny Titans. I read a few issues just for funsies, and so there's an issue. So Robin in this one is Dick Grayson, and he clearly has a crush on Barbara Gordon Batgirl, and it's really adorable. And another thing, I feel like Tiny Titans Robin is just constantly in a state of despair. Like, he's just always mildly annoyed or sad all the time. And so there's this one issue where Barbara, she's like a babysitter to Jason and Tim. So Tim and Jason are like really small here. They're much younger. And so Tim is just called Tim, and Jason Todd, he's called Jason Toddler. And it's just a little guy. But yeah, it's very entertaining, and I had such a fun time reading it. But yeah, that issue was absolutely amazing. Like, oh. Okay, yeah, I gotta go. Thanks for coming to the stream. I feel like this is gonna be a really fun VOD to watch. Today I completed a hat. I completed a shoe. That's it. Wow, I did not. It's been like an hour. Oh, great. Okay, yeah. Thanks for watching. I will see you next week. Yippee!